What's up, guys? Welcome back to my channel. This is a review and a much needed upgrade for my battery terminals on my 94 Cobra. LMR recently just came out with OEM style battery terminals. So I went ahead and bought them. They're $9.99 plus $10 shipping. Here's the part number for them here, LRS 14300 Bravo - Papa Romeo. And they just came out with these. And I will say these are excellent battery terminals. They're actually pretty heavy duty compared to big box store like Advance Auto or AutoZone battery terminals. And the LMR OEM style actually come with the correct sizing. And what I'm meaning is that LMR actually has the smaller diameter for the negative and the larger diameter for the positive side. Unlike the generic brands, when you go to the parts store, like these, they're actually just all one size. And these are actually not that strong. And these are store-bought from Advance Auto. I don't know if you can see that. Now I can move that with my finger. Now these terminals, they're pretty tough. I mean, they're a lot thicker, and they work just as factory OEM style, but brand new. So coming down here, here's a little bit about the connectors. The connectors actually have a little bent tab. I don't know if you guys can see that, but there's a small bent tab right down here, and that pushes up against the other side of the terminal as like a little stop. The terminals also have a locking washer and a flat washer so that the nut can stay secure to your terminal. And if you guys are wondering, this is my power cable to my 450 pump that I run in my car since mine's turbo. Install's pretty easy, guys. There's a couple ways you can do this. We'll just go over here to the negative side of the battery. So one thing you got to be aware of is the length of cable. Before you cut your cable down, you want to make sure you have enough length of cable. So here's my old factory cables here, terminals. And I figured out there's enough cable here that I basically just cut my cable with some wire. You can use bolt cutters, heavy duty wire cutters. And I just cut it, and I basically just stripped back the insulation with a blade, just enough so that it'll actually fit into the terminal here. You don't need a lot, you just need enough. You can have a little tiny overhang down here if you want, but you don't need much. You definitely don't want your battery cable touching the bolt, the square bolt. So that's basically it. You cut it down, and then you take your wires and you put them through the U where it's about to be crimped, and then you use some, these are actually non-lead style battery terminal crimpers by iCrimp. Here's the part number if you guys are wondering. And this crimper is only for lead style battery crimpers. predominantly the ones with the U-shaped end for crimping. And it's pretty easy. The bottom of the U goes in here at the bottom. As you can see, there's a flat side here, and there's the double moon. So once you put your terminal in there and you crimp it down, you get your like double moon, half moon crimp. I don't know if you guys, there you go. You get your double moon crimp. And that's what secures your wire together. Now, before you crimp your wire down, make sure you get battery terminal heat shrink. So I would definitely buy 1-inch diameter. I actually bought mine at Home Depot. Let me go ahead and grab them so you guys can see it also. Here's the 4-pack. 1-inch battery cable, heat shrink tubing, 4-inch length, and a pack of 4, 2 red, 2 black, and you can cut them to length. You can use the remaining multiple times. Now that was for the negative side for removal and installation. Now the positive side, it's a little different. I realized that I didn't have enough cable on my fuse box here to actually cut it back. It was just too short, and I didn't want to wait to actually go by and order some cable. Now the main power cable here was long enough. I could have cut that back, but I would have had to wait to get a new power cable and a new terminal for the fuse box here, because I would have had to made my own wire. Instead, what I did was I actually took a cutoff wheel and I carefully split the terminal. Here's the old one. I carefully split the terminal. I'll show you. Here's another good picture. So I didn't actually go all the way through. Let's see if you guys can see that or not. So I didn't actually go all the way through the terminal, so I didn't cut into my cable. So if you just make a slit, just enough right there, just enough so you can get some type of vice grips or needle nose pliers to actually pull this back. As you can see it's rocking back and forth. That's really all you need, just enough to pull the cable or the terminal ends, the crimp side, just enough to pull it back so that you can remove the cable. I would advise not actually cutting through the whole thing, because you could crimp or you could cut your power cable. But this is the old one, old positive side. And it was pretty dirty and some corrosion going on. So these had to be replaced. Basically, it's the same thing as you would with the negative side. You would cut that back, cut the terminal ends, the crimp side back. You would clean off your wire here, and then you would actually do the same thing. You'd insert your wire all the way up here and use the same tool to crimp the terminals. And again, make sure you put heat shrink on these 2 wires before you crimp, otherwise you won't be able to get heat shrink on. And then once you crimp them on, you just take a heat gun and you just heat shrink this down and you're good to go. But yeah, like I said before, fair warning on the length of your cable here. Make sure you have enough cable length on your fuse box and your power cable, because you don't want to cut it right way back. If you do cut it way back and you don't have enough, or you don't have enough to pull it, you will probably have to go buy the LMR OEM power cable wire kit, which is like $99, and that includes the negative cables and the positive cables for the whole car. But anyways, if you guys are looking to upgrade or replace your original OEM OEM battery terminals for your 94 to 04 Mustang, LMR has a brand new on their website. I will leave the link. I'll put a link down in the description so you guys will have that. But I would definitely upgrade to these if your cables are old, corroded, and need replaced, because these things definitely are on par with factory style terminals.